Kerri, and I'm back again with Daryl, and we're here from the Pacific Hepatitis C Network.
Hi, everyone. We're here today with Jessica Lamb, and who is a person with lived experience, and she's agreed to come here today and talk about harm reduction. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, guys. So yeah, I'm Jessica, and I am a person who uses drugs with lived and living experience. And I was diagnosed with hepatitis C in 2017, and I was treated and cured. And currently I am living and working in the East Kootenays in Kimberley and Cranbrook as peer, and I am engaged with different organizations like Anchors and the Pacific Hep C network and the Kimberley Cranbrook network of people that use drugs.
Thanks, Jessica. Can you tell us more about your Hep C experience?
Yep. So I was diagnosed with hepatitis C in 2017. And because I was a female of childbearing age at the time, I was treated and eventually cured for hepatitis C. I experienced some stigma from the healthcare industry with my experience. I was going to treatment in 2015 and was overlooked by a doctor to be tested for hepatitis C. So thankfully my doctor, when I moved to BC, was screened me for hepatitis C during an STD test, and that's when I came back positive.
So you obviously do work in the space of harm reduction. Are you able to tell us, fairly briefly, I guess, what harm reduction is and how harm reduction relates to hepatitis C?
So harm reduction is reducing the harms to activities that you're involved in. So, you know, for people not using drugs, it can be, you know, sunscreen or seatbelts. But for people like myself, a person who with lived and live experience is using drugs and hepatitis C, harm reduction is meeting people where they're at with compassion and without judgment, and introducing different practices to reduce the harms involved in their activities. So for people using drugs, this can be using new equipment every time you use, and getting regular testing done and things like that.
What has your role been as a peer worker?
It's my role as a peer worker started back in December of 2019 with an Instagram page called Harm Reduction Saves Lives, and from there things kind of blossomed. So that space is a page to share information for people around harm reduction. So anything from infectious disease to how to use naloxone, safe injection practices, and it's kind of blossomed to working face-to-face with people in the community that are still using drugs. So working harm reduction tables, and currently I'm working at a shelter in place for people experiencing homelessness during COVID. So a part of that role is just ensuring that people have the resources and the materials that they need to use safely. Peers are a big part of the puzzle piece. I feel for myself, peers are able to offer like a different level of compassion, because it's like, I've been there, I know what you're going through, and you know, you at the end of the day, you are still a human being who deserves respect, compassion, and dignity. And when we're shown those things, you know, and valued just as a human being, it sets us up for change. And whether that change is just something like, you know, going from using the same needle to using a new needle every time, or if, you know, that change is getting on to you know, an OAT, whatever it is, like when somebody's been there before you and can guide you and give you some information, that's when, you know, and really be like, I get it. That's when things are good. So,
Well, I think it provides an extra level of trust.
yeah.
And trust is really important.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jessica.
How can people access harm reduction services and supplies? And how has that changed in the current context of COVID?
In our communities of Kimberley and Cranbrook and the East Kootenays, there's a couple ways to access harm reduction services and supplies. Our main organization in Cranbrook is Anchors, and they're open from 10 till 2 Monday through Friday, and you can go there, and they're the harm reduction gurus in our communities. So they have safe injection equipment, safe snorting equipment. They have all the resources that you can possibly need to know about how to use drugs safer. They can get you connected with, you know, organizations in the community and get testing done for you and a whole bunch of different things. We also have in Kimberley, all of our pharmacies carry safe supplies as well as naloxone kits, and a few of the pharmacies in Cranbrook as well. So, and we are fortunate enough in our community that we have some outreach peers that you can call at any time, and they will come to you to get you safe supplies and those sorts of things. So it's kind of changed in the context of COVID because hours are a little bit more limited. You might not, you know, right now you can't go into the Anchor's office. They meet you outside, right? But they're still, you know, they're still there. Their doors are open.
So hopefully some of the things that you've mentioned, Jess, you know, persist after, you know, after COVID, about the, you know, better strategies for outreach and things that people are doing in, you know, in the community, and really taking harm reduction and peer support to people rather than, you know, it always having to be people coming to a specific place. So hopefully some of that outreach and what we've learned from this experience will help people continue to better access things as time goes forward.
Certainly, Pacific Hep C Network will continue to provide support and help wherever we can in your communities and throughout the province. Jessica, do you have any specific recommendations for online or other resources that people can go to?
Yep. So some of the, with one of the things with COVID that has happened is they have released a couple overdose prevention apps. One of them is called Be Safe, and the other one that was just released last week is called Lifeguard. Both of them are great apps for people who are using that may not have a buddy to spot them, and it will, in the event of an overdose, it'll take you straight to emergency services. There's also the BCCSU. They have a lot of great resources on safer supply, pandemic prescribing, you know, safer drug use during COVID. And then there's also, I love Help4Hep BC. So the Pacific Hep C network is a great organization that has resources available, and the best part is that you can talk to somebody. If you have questions, you can call or text and talk to somebody about hepatitis C. So there's tons of you know, great webinars available through Katie right now as well. And of course, the BC Yukon Association of Drug War Survivors is a great resource. They can advocate for you and that kind of stuff.
So we will provide links to those things and probably more that Jess thinks of afterwards in the description of this video or podcast.
Do you have any final or closing thoughts today, Jessica?
Sure. My final or closing thoughts would be it just in reiterating the importance of meeting people where they're at, regardless of what part of the journey that they are on, and treating them with respect, dignity, and compassion. You know, that's when things started changing for me, and I was able to make some steps forward in my life. And in terms of harm reduction and hepatitis C, you know, everything new every time you use, and there are resources available in your community, and yeah, we're here to help.
Awesome.
Let's not forget, get tested.
Yeah, get tested. Testing is back. Testing is available again, and go out and get tested. That's the most important thing.
Thank you for joining us today, Jess. And what we'll do is we will provide the links to your Instagram page and your Facebook group for the Drug Users Union in the description of this episode. And you can find Pacific Hep C online at pacifichepc.org.
And the helpline at 1-888-411-7578. And you can text us at that number as well.
Thanks again, Jess, for joining us today, and we will see everyone next time.
Thanks, Jessica.
Thanks for having me.